With
Coach Amber.
And today we want to cover some ab exercises you can do at home, in the hotel, on the road, wherever. Basically, no equipment needed, but you can really lock in a great little core workout. So, two parts of this video. First part, we're going to go over the exercises real quick. So if you don't have any time, which probably like most of us, you want to just kind of see what are we doing. And then the second part, we're going to take our time and actually go through it. So if you want to bookmark this video, save it for later, you'll have some information of which we can show you the sequence, etc., and how it works. So, first exercise. Let's do it. We're going to do the plank, okay? Some of the key things to think about when doing the plank, making sure that you squeeze your butt. You don't want to have a hammock like in that lower back. You really want to squeeze your butt. Make sure you lock that in. Next, for a side plank. Okay, sometimes called the side bridge. What you're going to do, go ahead, make sure that you push through that forearm, the down forearm, and that you got a straight line between your ankle and your shoulder. That's ideal. Okay, more is not always better. Perfect alignment is always better. So that ankle, knee, hip, shoulder should always be in line, both from this angle, but also if I was looking from the side. Okay, next, we're going to do the dead bug, one of my favorite exercises. Biggest thing you want to think about is getting that little bit of posterior pelvic tilt. So I like to say that your tailbone should be off the ground. From there, your right hand and left knee move. With the breath and owning that control. Okay? Love that version. Again, no equipment needed. Next, we're going to do the dying bug. This always confuses people, but just think about the difference from the contraction standpoint. So, hands behind the head, being careful not to put any pressure or excess pressure on the neck. From this position, you're going to reach on one side only. And there's the dying bug. Okay? Love that, love that, love that. Next, we're going to do the plank with the pike. A couple key points here. Number one, make sure you're pushing through your forearms and trying to get your hips high to the ceiling. Okay, so when you push back, then get those hips high, squeeze from your butt back down into that rock solid plank position. Back to the ceiling, and then lock it back down. Making sure, again, like that regular plank, that regular forward plank, not to arch. Okay? After that, you're going back to your back, leg drops. Okay? Key on leg drops, real simple. Okay? Make sure that you got a little bit of elevation. This allows the rib cage to come down. Okay? Now, from there, support your neck. Drop your heels anywhere between 6 and 12 inches, or until you feel your lower back start to come off the ground, / you're starting to lose the amount of feeling that you started with in your core. Okay? So 6 to 12 inches, and then you're breathing in as they lower, breathing out as they come back up. You're going to see a lot of people do this exercise. What they're missing is that the idea here is to keep your lower back flat and to teach the rib cage and pelvis to work together. For 80 to 90% of the population, doing this exercise all the way down to the ground is a nasty exercise, and we don't do it. We don't even put it in our programs, and I wouldn't either. No. Okay, that was going to be a rant. I saved you some time there. Cross body, hand to toe, with a slow open. So I should have stayed on my back. Yeah. So, one bent knee. We're going to go hand to toe. So right hand to the left toe, coming all the way up. And then slowly open, about a 3 count. And again, if you feel this in your neck, just support your head with the opposite hand, but making sure that you take your time on the open. A lot of people do this. A lot of people come up. We're going to want to maybe, we're going to want to keep that one side on the ground for support and really try to work on that opposite rib cage to hip. Okay? Next one's kind of cool, sword and stone. This one's called sword and stone. You can use a broomstick, something sturdy, but all you're going to do is this is going to teach you from an alignment perspective and a kneeling alignment perspective where you need to be. So what we're going to do, we're going to lock this down, okay, like that ancient legend, except instead of trying to pull it up, we're going to push it down into the ground, tilt the hips forward, push down into the ground, making sure that your arms are slightly bent, not straight, but you're squeezing from your butt and from your abs. Slowing down your breathing. Trying to brace hard into the ground. You should feel that between your rib cage and your pelvis, also known as your abs. Next, side plank knee to elbow. This is a slightly advanced version, but there's a lot of ways that you could do it. You can do it from the kneeling position. In this instance, Amber, go ahead. She's going to show it from the regular side plank position. Go ahead. And that's actually a little more advanced because she's reaching for that length from the top. Yep, that's another version. That's kind of the beginner. Well, it's still advanced. And then the big key here, when you're doing this exercise, try to stay squeezed from that down leg. So you're basically going to come down without letting the hips bend from the waist, which is pretty much 90% of that challenge. Next, lower ab raises. This is the last one. So after this, you can go back to your lunch break. Okay? But lower ab raises, bracing down against the ground. What I like to say is that you're going to put your feet onto the ceiling and make a footprint so that they make sure people aren't rocking. That's the tendency with this. So you're going to brace gently through the ground, push, back down, back down. Okay? Again, making sure not to rock back and forth using the hip flexors, using the legs to swing. That's really not the point of the exercise. The point here is to have that control from the abdominal region and not necessarily use momentum. So if you are short on time, now's the time for you to go. But we're going to go through and do this in a circuit. Get a little sweat on. We got about 10 minutes. Yeah, let's stick around. You want to go share that on your Facebook real quick? I'll grab the timer.